Hey guys, Brad Gilmore here. Want to give a big shout out to our title sponsor, Walker Texas Lawyer. If you or a loved one have been injured in an accident, whether that be a car, truck, motorcycle accident, or some kind of other issue, hit up Walker Texas Lawyer at 713-552-1117 or walkertexaslawyer.com.
Oh, Brad, what have you done now?
Broadcasting live from Houston, Texas, and around the world. TV host, best-selling author, and radio personality Brad Gilmore brings you a collection of conversations with stars from movies.
Matthew McConaughey.
Brad Gilmore.
Mark Wahlberg.
Hey, how are you?
The legendary Mr. Christopher Lloyd. Christopher, how are we doing?
I'm doing good. Great introduction.
Jessica Alba and Lizzie Mathis. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Kevin Costner joins us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Television.
Jimmy Fallon joins us this morning. Jimmy, how you doing, my friend?
Good morning. Thank you so much, Brad, for having me. I appreciate this, bud.
Kelly Ripa.
Brad, thank you for having me.
Comedy.
Jay Leno joins us. Jay, how you doing?
Hey, Brad, what's going on?
Chris Tucker is in the building. Chris Tucker, good morning to you.
Hey, Brad, good morning to you. How are you?
George Lopez joins us right now. George, how are you doing, sir?
Good morning.
Music.
Lola Monroe.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
The legendary frontman of AC/DC, Brian Johnson, joins us right now. Brian, how you doing?
Good morning, Brad. What lovely to talk to me. Funny lad.
Megan Trainor.
Thank you so much, Brad. You're awesome.
Chloe Bailey joins us. I appreciate the time.
Appreciate you.
And more. This is The Collection. Now your host, The Boat.
Brad Gilmore! Let's do it. Here in 3, 2, and he's joining me now. He is a Rock and Roll Hall of Famer. His credits are incredible, and he's going to be bringing his talents here to the city of Houston at the Heights Theater with the Speaker Wars, which is, you know what? I've been listening to the record, and I'm excited to talk to him about it. He is the one and only Mr. Stan Lynch. Stan, how are you, sir?
I'm well. How about you?
I'm doing good. First off, thank you for coming to the city of Houston. We're excited to have you. The Heights Theater is a legendary venue, and you're adding your legendary name to it. Have you played? I'm sure you've played in Houston several times before.
Yes, back in the old days, as they say. Yeah, we used to make that was a regular stop. It's really just across the pond from where I am, in south of Jacksonville, and I've always loved Houston. I got some old buddies from high school that live in Houston now, so I can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great show. And you know what though, the Speaker Wars. When we talk about this record, I've been listening to the record the last few days. Very, very fun album. I mean, even from the lead-off track, which I think even has a mention of the great state of Texas in it at a certain point, and throughout the entirety of it, you got to be proud of this album. It came out a few months ago. How are people responding to it?
It's been really wonderful to climb back behind a drum set again, and I've got a great bunch of guys with me. They're funny, they're irreverent, they're hardworking. Which in this day and age, I don't take anything for granted. It's wonderful that they can get in and rumble. There's nothing more chaotic and wonderful than a rock and roll band. It's the most ridiculous way in the world to make a living, but it's a great life.
Well, okay, walk me through a few things because I'm interested in several aspects of the album and kind of the origin story of it. I always love a name. I love a name. I love a band name too. So the Speaker Wars, you go through with a self-titled album here. Where does Speaker Wars originate from? Where does the idea and the concept behind the name, start? Why did y'all go with that?
Well, in a world that's so angry and fighting, and I made a joke one day that, look, the only war I'll fight about is what's coming out of the speakers. Like the rest of it, I'm ready to let go. I can let go over whether, all the trivialities of life, but I will get down to business about what's coming out of the speakers. And John, my partner in the band, he knows that. He goes like, okay, this is where it's going to get, it could get bloody.
Well, it's a great title. It's a great name.
Well, it just one thing led to another. And, and management we started calling that the War Room, and, and it's great. And people that like the band are warriors, and it was just fun, but I please do not take me literally that I'm a fighter. I am truly a lover, and it's like, that is not my game. I'm not bowed up and ready. It's like, But like I said, if you're in my studio or you're in any studio with me working, I want to hear what's your absolute best shot coming out of those speakers, you know?
Well, no, it makes perfect sense, and especially being a drummer. To me, look, obviously, there's been great front men throughout the history and annals of time. You know, you played for one of the great ones for a long time. I mean, you talk about Paul Stanley. You could talk about, so many people. So many people. I could go through the list of it. But the thing is, and tell me if I'm wrong. I'd like to know your opinion.
Sure.
I think that a front man is amazing. The lead guitarist is electric, obviously. They have a lot of the pomp and circumstance that makes the band what it is, almost the identity of the band. But the bass and the drums are truly the heart and soul of every record and of every concert that I've ever seen. I know that you might be partial being a drummer, but do you agree with my assessment that the really the heart and soul of a band are the bass and drums?
Well, my grandma was a music buff, a symphony buff, and she used to equate the drummer as the conductor. She was like, well, who conducts the band? And it's like, well, in a weird way, I guess your arms are flailing around and but really the job of a good drummer is to make the rest of the guys in the band want to play, make it feel good. You just want to, like, being a technically brilliant musician is only so much fun, but it's the beat, it's the pulse. And everybody in the band is a drummer if they're good. The singer's a drummer if he's good. We're all in sync. And the best rock and roll bands, and I happen to have been in one of them, was when we were all playing rhythm. And but yeah, drumming, it's kind of a thankless task. But it's a lot of fun when you get it, when it feels good. It's like horseback riding. If it's the worst day of your life, or it's how come this feels so great, But I love making music, and I love making music with other people. That's where it really comes alive for me. And the next great step for us is we'd love to play for people and feel that energy and get, build a crowd for us, and I would love that. And I think that I appreciate what you're doing, because this is how it's done nowadays is, plant those seeds for me, go, Johnny.
Of course.
Go.
No, of course. I mean, well, and to me too, there's such what was interesting about the record when I was listening to it is, in the best of ways, it felt like I had heard some of these songs before, in the sense of they have a familiar warmth to them. They're inviting in a way that has the same riffs and the same percussive fills of a classic rock record that we all grew up listening to, back in the vinyl days or whatever it might have been for everybody. Was that part of the idea, to try to have a 2025 feel, but also have a classic feel to it?
Boy, I wish I could tell you there was any plan to ever in my life. Literally the last thing I remember, I was 17 or 18 driving to California. The plan was to get to California. So the plan with this band is, let's get together and do what we do naturally. So maybe what you're hearing, well, first of all, I take it as a great compliment. If it's familiar and new, that's great. And but that's not planned. I mean, it's just, if I get behind a drum set, I have a narrow lane, that's my lane. And that's what I've done my whole life. And hopefully I get to do it forever. But it's, and the rest of the guys, this is just that noise we make. You put microphones up, count 4, write a song. That's how they interpret it. And I'm all for it.
Well, when you say you put the microphone up and count to 4, songs can come in all kinds of different ways. Sometimes you have the title first. Sometimes a lyric comes to your mind. Sometimes you have that drum beat, or there's a riff or what have you that kind of sparked the idea of the record. Did y'all have a particular way that you approached every song on the album? Or was it just like, let's jam around, let's figure out what comes to it, and then we'll go from there?
It usually starts with John, the singer, John Christopher Davis, and myself. So right now, the method has been, we get in a room and we're friends and we start to talk. And one thing, usually in the conversation, you'll go, hey, why don't we put a pin in that one and hang a hat on that? Let's run with that for a minute. But it usually starts from an honest place of lyric, like, what do we want to say? Yeah. Music, I won't say it comes easy, but everybody with a guitar can make the noise, but the thing that comes from your heart is what makes you individual. And that's what I've always loved about the great writers I've gotten to work with and the other artists. That's the thing that's the intangible. It's not their guitar playing, it's what they're saying and how they're saying it. And that's what I think John and I both fix on. You know, we both love that. That's our little North Star. It's like, ooh, that's you, man. Let me see if I can pull that out of you, you know?
Well, and the idea, I think, of a great band, and people are going to see it here at the Heights Theater in Houston when Speaker Wars comes to town, is when you're up there, you're thinking singularly but acting collectively, right? You all have the same goal in mind, but you're acting together at the same time. But sometimes in the studio, there can be some friction and some tension, right? Trying to figure out, hey, I like this way. No, I like this way. We should play it at this rate of speed or slow it down or whatever it might be. But those are also like the most fruitful debates and conversations where some of the best music can come from, I would imagine.
Well, you just described the name of the band. That's, like I said, that is, if there is friction that akin to war or there is any battle, I see it as a positive because it means we're fighting for something, not against each other. And that's the key to any good conflict is like, hey, as long as the goal is worthwhile, man, let's get it on, heat up the coffee, let's go. So it's like, but if it's just to get on each other's nerves, oh man, put a fork in it, let's get out of here, you know? But yeah, all that conflict is, I think, it's the aggregate that gets you the pearl. It's that whole story. It's like without a little friction, it's kind of just pablum. It's baby food, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you know. So I don't mind.
No, it's good friction, good trouble to get into. You know, I think whenever you tackle an industry of any kind, you look to other people who are doing something similar to you. And, not that you want to adapt their style or you want to take from them or anything like that, but sometimes you like to see how other people do things. And so for you, when you were coming up and really honing in on the art of drumming and looking at it, were there guys that you look to, guys or girls, where you're like, wow, they're really, really good. These are some people who I really enjoy listening to, whether it's the John Bonhams or Peter Criss or Keith Moon or whomever it might be, Ringo, some of the great drummers of all time. Were there guys that you look to go, oh, I love how he plays?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when I was coming up, it was, look, I don't want to date myself, but it's pretty obvious. It's like, look, I grew up, Ed Sullivan was MTV. You know what I mean? That's when I saw rock and roll. So for me, it was, I was there kind of when the Big Bang hit, because it was, not that Elvis wasn't amazing, but for me, it was the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. And when I saw that, I just went, I'm throwing my life away. Even at 11 years old or 8, I think it was probably 8 years old, I went, okay, I want to be part of that. I don't even know what it means, but Charlie Watts and Ringo obviously were, I went home that night and started moving my drums around so it would look like that. And yeah, those two were, and then, later, of course, so many great drummers, but mostly I really didn't want to be a great drummer. I wanted to be the great drummer in the band. I just, I wasn't like, hey, look at me, I want to be in a great rock and roll band. And, mission accomplished. I was really fortunate that I was with a bunch of other guys that felt the same way. They were like, hey, I want to be in a great band, and we just happened to have a great songwriter and a great singer. So it was like, oh man, how many times can I expect lightning to keep striking? It's like, this is incredible, and we knew it, to our credit, even as kids, we went, not to be stuck up about it, but we ain't bad,
Yeah.
Bad,
Yeah, and you know when you're onto something and something feels right and something sounds good. And it's interesting too that Elvis was great in his time, and a lot of those guys in the mid '50s when rock and roll was just starting to kind of come out. But what's interesting too is you think about a lot of those early Elvis records, or even Johnny Cash, who's become somewhat of a folk hero for all musicians.
Absolutely.
But there wasn't a lot of drumming in those early records because back then, I think, drums were more so for rhythm and blues acts and things of that nature, and not as many in the country and Western genre until Elvis started to really break through toward the latter portions of the 50s. And that's really what I think when a lot of drums started to really kind of take hold.
Well, it became more animated. I mean, there was always rhythm, even in the Tennessee too, like in the, Johnny
Folsom
Cash,
Prison. Yeah.
great rhythm. I mean, just the Get Rhythm. Heck, that's one of
Yeah.
his songs.
One of the
It's
best
like,
ones he had. Yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, rhythm just became a little more animated and cartoon-like to the point where in the 90s, it was almost like, are those drums or are those cannons flying? I don't know what I'm hearing, but I was never really into all that. But yeah, the rhythm was always so seductive to me. It was like, just why am I patting my foot? Why is my mother patting her foot? Why is anybody who doesn't even understand music can pat their foot if the beat's good? So that was what, for me, that was the art of drumming, was everybody in the control room was patting their foot. That's probably a pretty good track, like, it was almost
You're
that.
finding the pulse of the song. I mean, quite literally, and you're right. Whether that be from a great rhythm guitar or even piano, which is a very percussive instrument, someone like Jerry Lee Lewis on the keys, really making you move, or whomever it might be, into the drummers. And drums was the whole basis of hip hop. Hip hop was based on drums. Without the drums, there is no hip hop. Without the funky drummer sample from James Brown and things of that nature.
Yeah, they're amazing. I
Yeah.
mean, all that. Yeah, we're just. I'm just thrilled to be part of it, and that I'm amazed that some of the records I got to make they still hang in there and they get played, and it's just it's been a great life, that music has provided me. It's everything for me. It's my social life. It's my spiritual life. It's all that I am. So it's just wonderful. And I hope that that's still available to people. I don't know what, the arts of all of that has shifted and the times have changed, but boy, I feel like I fell in a beautiful crack and had a wonderful, and still am. The fact that hey, I'm talking to you. We're talking about music.
It's a good day, and the
Good
speaker
day.
wars are coming here to Houston, and I'm so thrilled about it. A couple more things before I let you out of here. You've been so gracious with your time, and I cannot wait to be in the crowd for the speaker wars at the Heights Theater. Let me ask you this. A lot of thing has been made of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame over the years. Some people love it. Some people don't love it. Some people want to go. Some people say, I won't go if I get in, but then they go anyway, or whatever the case might be. What is your feeling? Do you wear that with distinction of like, wow, I actually, this kid who saw Ed Sullivan and wanted to be like Ringo Starr is now enshrined alongside him in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Or do you think about it much at all?
I guess I don't give it a whole lot of thought, but it seems like a lot of other people do.
Yeah.
It's nice. I mean, my friends all reacted a bit. For me, it was like, honestly, it was a great excuse to go see my friends.
Sure.
I hate to just keep reducing it to this kind of joy thing. It wasn't a bad day. It was like I got to see my friends. I got to play music with them. Since then, a couple of the guys are gone. So that obviously is a melancholy sensation when I think about it. But yeah, I don't put a lot of stock in the puffery of it all, if that's what I think you're kind of.
Sure.
It's not like I walk around thinking about it going, yeah, dig me. It's more like, well, nice somebody noticed. Beats not being inducted, I guess.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's not, but it is a stamp of recognition that, whether you, like you said, look at it in the same reverence that other people may, it's just an acknowledgement by your peers and others that, wow, what you were able to do in this incredibly, there's so much music that comes out. Every day, it's millions and millions and millions of songs. So in the annals of time, in the history of music, for them to say, what Stan and the boys were able to do, we want to make sure that we acknowledge that forevermore and enshrine them. It has to be nice at some level just to have that acknowledgement. It's the proverbial pat on the back, right? Of like, good job, kid. You did something.
I don't know about you, but attaboys are still kind of nice.
Attaboys are still kind of nice. They still are. Okay, Here's my final thing for you. And again, I cannot wait for the Speaker Wars. And everyone, go listen to the album. The album is great. It's familiar and it's new at the same time. Now, I know when you're in the studio, it's an arduous process. You listen to mixes and and mastering sessions. And sometimes a song that you love, by the end of it, you heard it 1,000 times. You're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to hear this song ever again. But then you go on tour and you got to play them. And I know musicians say songs are like your children. Some you can't pick a favorite and whatever. But for you, off the Speaker Wars album, is there one that you look forward to the most going, I can't wait to play this song tonight in the set list?
Wow, no, I'm not like going to revert to the children thing. That metaphor is a little deep and a little beat up. But really, you could drop the needle anywhere on that record, and I'm going to try to play it better than the record. That's what I look forward to, is the evolution of a song. Because really, by the time you make the record, it's not really fully evolved. And we made a lot of that record during COVID, and it was kind of catch as catch can. And so we're a better band now than then. It's like, so to me, I hear your question, and there probably is a short form, but off the top of my head, I go, man, they're all really
great.
And look, and it's a new band. It's a very new band, and we're really still just looking at each other, going, really? Oh wow, I didn't. There's a lot of. We're almost still shaking hands on stage with the music. I can't wait. We're going to go rehearse. We've got a few days of rehearsal, which is great. And so in answer to your question, I like playing. It's fun. I like the process of writing, creating, and recording, but the playing is such an immediate, and look, if you get heckled, it means you probably did something wrong. So I'll take it like a champ.
But to me, the playing of the record is the proverbial mint on the pillow, right? Like, it's the reward for all the arduous work and long hours and mixing and re-recording and rewriting. That's the reward.
To throw it out there and in real time, and know that any mistake you make is a collector's edition, and that you just gotta roll with it. And it's like, that to me is where the rubber hits the road. And I love working without a net. We're not a band that works with click tracks or MIDI this, or there's no canned vocals. Hey, look, I just find that I love flying by the seat of my pants. Always have. That's a rock and roll band, and that's what these guys can do.
Any mistake I make is a collector's edition, is something that I'm going to take from you. I love that. And you know what? Someone once told me it can't go wrong if it's live, right? So you know what? Just go up there and whatever happens, happens. And the Speaker Wars are coming to Houston. Stan Lynch is going to be the heart and soul of the band, in my opinion. And I can't wait to see y'all rock the stage at the Heights Theater. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you today.
You've been a real joy. I really appreciate your energy, appreciate your input. Thank you for getting the word out there. I hope to see you there.
You will. Stan Lynch, thanks so much.
Thank you.